Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Tchaikovsky recordings. Now, I know that many of you will have your own list of 5 greatest Tchaikovsky recordings, and I welcome your participation. We're getting better at counting to 5, actually. You know, initially when I asked for 5, people would give, oh, God knows how many, or they would have all their honorable mentions, or you do the I can't decide thing. You have to decide, because 5 is the limit. And if you go over it, you get deleted. Ha! Yes, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get deleted. 5 is the absolute limit. So no honorable mentions, no hesitations, no squeamishness. You have to make the difficult choices, because that's how we build a really superb discography for future generations to admire and enjoy and sample. And that's the whole point of this. You know, thinking of the future, folks, the future. And Tchaikovsky has a glowing future with all of the great recordings that have come out so far, and presumably are still to arrive on the scene. Anyway, so here we go. The 5 greatest Tchaikovsky recordings. Number 1, the Violin Concerto with Nathan Milstein, Claudio Abbado on Deutsche Grammophon. Now, I don't even really like the Violin Concerto. That's me, I understand. For me, it just is too scratchy, scrapey most of the time. But Nathan Milstein, first of all, was a pupil of Leopold, what's his name? Leopold Auer, I don't know, one of those. The person who Tchaikovsky wrote the thing for, something like that. I don't know. There's pedigree there. That's the point. Lots of pedigree. It was his signature piece. I saw him perform it multiple times. He really did sort of have a proprietary interest in it. He was a violinist of extraordinary good taste, impeccable musicianship, and he made the piece sound, well, I like to say greater than it is, but that's not really a possibility. Obviously, if it sounds great, it must be because it is great. And his performances are tremendous. And this recording with Abbado is sort of, he did several recordings of the work, but this is sort of the touchstone interpretation. He made it later in his life. It sums up decades of violinistic wisdom, at least that's what people say, and I'm willing to accept that, because if I want to hear the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto, this is the version I am most likely to turn to, even taking into account people like Heifetz and Oistrakh and all of those people. Milstein, I think, deserves the palm in this particular case, and it's an exceptionally fine recording and beautifully recorded too, sonically, beautifully engineered. Next, the ballet suites, Nutcracker, Sleeping Beauty, and Swan Lake, with Rostropovich conducting the Berlin Philharmonic on DG. Now, Rostropovich was a so-so conductor. He got better as he went, as he learned how to conduct, basically. Even his wife, Vishnevskaya, wasn't so happy working with him at the Bolshoi. She thought that he was encroaching on her turf when he conducted opera at the Bolshoi, when she was the lead soprano there. And he could be kind of wayward. He was pretty smart in sticking to the repertoire that was expected of him, the Russian repertoire, basically. Although I saw him do amazing stuff when he was at the National Symphony in Washington. I mean, he did a fabulous Mahler second, a really marvelous Mahler second, a bunch of other things that were really impressive. So he could do lots of other music. He didn't get a chance to record it, and that's okay. I mean, it's like not a loss. We've got plenty of other people recording it. His Tchaikovsky cycle itself with London Phil was early in his career as a conductor. It's a little heavy-handed. It's not terrific, but his Tchaikovsky ballet suites in Berlin, something happened. I mean, it is smoking. Absolutely great. It may be that he was better because they're mostly shorter movements, and their interpretive demands are slighter, or the music is sort of wears its emotionality immediately on the surface so he could simply emote all over it? And I don't know. But whatever the answer is, from the very opening bars of Sleeping Beauty, jun, 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 it's just incredibly exciting. The Nutcracker Suite has the trepak that'll curl your hair, if you have any, wherever your hair happens to be. It's incredible. Absolutely an incredible disc. And it just, everything went right. It's one of those moments. Next, the 1812 Overture with Antal Dorati on Mercury Living Presence, the stereo one. I know people like the mono one, but the stereo one, the one with the stereo cannons blasting away and the bells going crazy, and oh my gosh, what a recording of the 1812 Overture. It's still the one. And it's really fascinating to me that, people sort of poo-poo the 1812 Overture, but, when it's done right, and Wilma Cozart Fine and her husband and the whole Mercury Living Presence team made sure they did it right. It's thrilling. It's just incredibly thrilling. And Dorati was just the guy to go in there and conduct the daylights out of it. Oh my gosh, what an amazingly fun recording that is. We've got to do some symphonies, I think. And if we're going to do some symphonies, we might as well toss in Symphonies 4, 5, 6 with Mravinsky and the Leningrad Philharmonic on DG. That is, famous for billions of reasons beyond words. Again, the stereo recordings. There is a mono predecessor that has one of the symphonies done by Kurt Sanderling. But no, Mravinsky doing 4, 5, and 6. He made so few studio recordings. I mean, these were it, basically. And they've become legendary. I can imagine Tchaikovsky that's, this is lean and mean Tchaikovsky with really, really fast tempos, amazing string playing, and no unsentimental, actually. And I can imagine other people enjoying other types of Tchaikovsky interpretation just as well. And there are lots of great Tchaikovsky symphony recordings. But this set, I have it sitting right back there, several of them, probably, richly deserves the acclaim that it has received. And last, but certainly not least, Abbado is back, but not in a solo role. Let's put it this way: as an accompanist. He's a very good accompanist. Abbado was, as a conductor, he could be very fussy, but as an accompanist, he was really very considerate. The Piano Concerto No. 1 with Martha Argerich and Abbado. This is also with Berlin, and it's on DG digital. It's Abbado's Argerich's third recording that we got on the Universal labels, because there was the live Bavarian radio one with Kondrashin where she goes completely insane and wrong notes are flying all over the place. And some people think that's really exciting. It is. It is really exciting, but it's kind of a mess. And the first one was with Dutoit conducting, I think the Royal Phil on Deutsche Grammophon, which was marvelous. But this one has the wildness, the excitement of the live one with the precision of the earlier one combined. It's just dazzlingly fabulous. And so it's obviously one of the great Tchaikovsky recordings ever. And I noticed that all of these recordings in this particular list are on Universal, and 4 of them are on Deutsche Grammophon, which is kind of remarkable. I didn't plan it that way. It just sort of worked out that way. They've got one hell of a Tchaikovsky catalog, and it's ironic because, they're known as like the German label that's supposed to do like Beethoven and Brahms. But turns out, as with, one of their singular artists, Herbert von Karajan, who was actually a much better Tchaikovsky conductor than he was in the German repertoire, could be that Deutsche Grammophon is a better Russian music label. I don't know. It's food for thought. And I am very interested to get your thoughts on the 5 greatest Tchaikovsky recordings. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.